We're going to set up a Facebook ad to bring in more leads for your painting company, whether you're doing residential painting, exterior, interior painting, kitchen cabinet resurfacing, that kind of thing. This is going to be the exact same setup that I use for setting up ads for my clients when we manage accounts for them. And I'm just going to walk you through this. Here's one client where we're bringing in 43 leads in the last 30 days at about $15.22 per lead. Here's a similar ad for a different client that's bringing in 32 leads at $18.70 per lead. And here's a third client with 20 leads in the past 30 days at about $30 a piece. We're going to do everything from the Facebook Ads Manager. And if you don't know how to get to your Facebook Ads Manager, it's simply going to be facebook.com/ads manager. And that's going to bring you to this area here. Now, if you're new to running Facebook ads, there's probably going to be nothing in here. There aren't going to be any campaigns. If you run ads before, you're going to see your previous campaign history. What you want to do here is make sure that from the left hand side, you're clicking on this green create button here under the campaign section. Once you do this, Facebook is going to give you a list of objectives, and you're going to pick the objective that you want. For our setup, we typically pick leads and we click on continue. Now, depending on whether you are on an updated version of the Ads Manager or previous version, you might or you might not see this screen. This might just go straight into the campaign structure. In my case, in this ad account, I'm seeing it here. And so typically what I just choose is I want manual campaign setup, and I click continue. Once I click manual campaign setup, everything is going to be built out for me as far as structure. This is the bones of things. So I'm going to have my campaign ad here. I'm going to have my lead ad set, and I'm going to have my ad. And we're going to walk through these sections in here so that you can see kind of what we set up. So the only thing that I'm doing here is verifying and making sure that got my right objective in here. Ad set budget is what we check, and everything else should be off here because there's nothing else that you need to do here. Then you're going to want to click on lead ad set, and this is where we'll be configuring some things and setting up some settings for your painting company. So one of the things that you want to do is come in here to the section that says pages and just make sure and verify that you've got the right page in there and that you've accepted the terms of service. Then you're going to go down to the budget and scheduling section, and you're going to plug in your daily budget. Then you want to come down to audience controls, and this is where you're going to set your location. So hover over locations, and there's going to be a pencil icon that shows up, and you can choose whatever location that you want to promote your business in. A little bit of advice on this one here is that you don't want to promote to the entire United States. Especially if you're a local service business like a painter in this case, because it just does you no good to promote in another state or even another county or a different city. If you don't service that city, you're going to end up with a lot of out of service area leads. So just make sure that you are diligently picking the service area or areas that you want to promote in here. The next thing that you're going to want to do is come down to advantage audiences, and I typically like to switch to the original option in here, and it gives me a little bit more control of where my placements are, etc. Under age right here, make sure that you're clicking the pencil icon and you're adjusting this accordingly. By default, it's going to be 18 to 65, but we all know that 18-year-olds are not out here buying painting services. They're not homeowners. So you want to just make sure that you pick accordingly in here. It might be 30 and up. It might be 40 and up in some cases. Look at your previous customer history and see who is the age range that buys from you the most and your best type of customer. Same thing goes with all genders in here. If 90% of your business comes from females, then you want to choose female. If 90% of your business comes from men, then you want to choose males. If not, just leave it alone and let the system kind of do its thing. One thing that I always tell people about detail targeting is that you can unselect this reach section in here because it's going to try to target people who are not really in your service area or in your ideal demographic. So just make sure you have that unchecked there. Lastly, you're going to go to placements, and under placements, this is where you will select where you want this ad to be placed in. So advantage placements is highlighted here, and if you leave this blank, Facebook's pretty much going to blast this everywhere. And what we want to do is click the pencil icon and choose manual placements and decide where you want this ad to be. So If you are running Instagram ads, for example, then you might want to select Instagram. But if you don't have an Instagram channel, and you don't want to run those ads, then you can uncheck Instagram and just run them in the Facebook newsfeed. And you can even select the placement of the ad that you want these ads to run in. So make sure you go through here and you select things that actually make sense. If you're running an image ad, then you're not going to want to put that in a video placement, obviously, because it's an image. If you're running a video ad, you're also not going to want to put that in an image placement because that's going to be a video. Also, sizing of videos, those kind of things matter depending on what you're doing. So if you're running ads on Instagram, you're going to want to follow the sizing guidelines for those videos and posts, etc. Once you've got this all taken care of, go here on the left hand side back again and click on a new lead ad. This is where the creative is going to happen. This is where you're going to be setting things up as far as the ad goes and what people are going to see as visual, representation of things. In the ad setup section, click on multi-advertising. Make sure you turn that off. I always pick single image or video. Then go down here to creative, and this is where you're going to decide what you want to add. So if you've got a video, choose video. If you've got an image, pick image. So what you want to do here is just pick your, image or, creative that you want, and then click on next. Here's where you're typing your primary text, whatever, your offer is, your copy. Maybe you're running a seasonal discount. That's fine. Use it there. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're building, your business based off of trust and off of quality. Then make sure that whatever you put in here can connect with your right audience. In the headline, make sure you put whatever it is that your headline is for your ad copy, and choose your call to action. More than likely, it's going to be something like, get quote, that kind of thing. Click on next, and it's going to bring you to the Advantage Creative AI stuff that Facebook has to offer in here. Now, my recommendation on this is I typically don't do it for my clients. I turn all this stuff off, and the reason for that is because Facebook's image AI is not really where it needs to be right now. So if you notice from this image that I loaded, I was in an office setting, and so it's trying to put me in different places. Like, look at this one here where there's a desk behind me, but I'm clearly outside in the open, somewhere. And it's just got weird things going on that I really don't like. And so I don't do it. So I typically go skip and continue all these settings. Same thing for me goes with all these enhancements that Facebook's going to try to do. I try to find them, and I want to make sure that I don't use those because I typically don't like those. They don't perform very well for us and for our clients at all. So I just go ahead and turn all those off. Once you click done, you'll be able to see the ad on the right hand side take shape. You'll be able to see your headline. You'll be able to see your call to actions, your copy, everything that you do that you've just built so far is going to be placed inside here. Okay. The next thing that you want to do is come down here and make a few sort of decisions, right? There has to be a place for this ad for us to capture the lead information. And in order to do that, we're going to have to create a form, a lead capture form. Now, I'm going to open one of these to show you what this looks like. It looks something like this, where you will actually choose what you want to say in the ad, along with custom questions that you may have for people to become leads. So we're going to go ahead and create one from scratch here so you can see what that looks like. Basically, you click on this section where it says destinations and click on create forms. Now, in the create form section, you'll want to give this a name that makes sense. Don't leave it like this where it says untitled. You'll want to go ahead and write this down in here, whatever that form is. Then you want to go to settings, and under settings, you want to just kind of open this form up, because if you don't open it up and somebody shares your form with a friend or somebody else who might be interested, they won't be able to submit the information and become a lead. Once you're here on this form, there are a few options, especially for the form type. I like to choose more volume because we have automations that kick in on the back end. and I want to click on optimize, then leave it alone, and then I click on intro. In the intro section, in the headline, this is where you put your headline, and this is where you will put a little bit more information to entice them to become a lead or give them anything else that they need. There are a bunch of trust signals. There are a bunch of options that you can enable and disable, from this form in here. About how it works, all kinds of stuff that will allow you to sort of persuade people, give them a little bit more information and come across trustworthy. I typically just kind of leave everything there alone. I don't, even mess with any of that stuff. I just leave it there. Once I'm there, the next option is going to be questions. And under questions, this is where things get a little bit interested. You've got your standard questions that are Facebook pre-filled, which is going to be first name, last name, email, phone number, that kind of thing. You can go ahead and choose from the category section anything that you need from here. So if you need the contact's zip code, if you need the contact's email address, the contact's phone number, if you need to know their street address, you can kind of, choose from these already pre-filled in, boxes that Facebook is going to pull in here for the lead. One thing that allows you to pre-qualify leads are going to be custom questions, and custom questions are something that I always encourage. In fact, when we set up ads for clients, we don't run any ads without custom questions. They're very, very important in making sure that people do not submit this form by accident, because then that leads into crappy quality leads that didn't want to submit the form to begin with, and it was just a mistake, or false information, fake phone numbers, fake emails, those kind of things. So I add questions in here, and you can pick for multiple choice questions, short answers, or conditional logic. I typically have a mix of questions in here, and you can ask anything. So one of the questions that I kind of ask is, are you interested in a residential painting estimate, right? And this could be as simple as yes, or no. And basically what happens in here is they have to manually select these options, kind of like a form on a website, before they can even become a lead. And these questions allow you to disqualify people. So if somebody mistakenly clicks this and they click the no option, then you can have, a thank you message that says no problem, go about your life, and they never become a lead. So I encourage you to pick custom questions that are important to you, whatever you need. Some people will need square footage. Some people just need to know, project scope. Other people need to know how many rooms are being painted if it's interior. Other people, if let's say you're doing exterior, they need to know if there's any cracks on the building, those kind of things. The better the questions you ask, the better the quality of the lead that you're going to get. Next, you're going to go to private policy, and this is very simple. All you need to do is copy and paste your private policy link from your already existing website in here as a disclaimer. Once you paste that in here, go to the ending, and the ending is really going to be the thank you page. This is going to be where you will have the lead's undivided attention. Now here you can say something, you can tell them what's going to happen next, and that's what I encourage you guys to do. So thank you for submitting your info. We have received it. We're sending you a text, or somebody from our office is calling you. Please go check your email. Whatever it is that you're going to do next is what you need to put in here. One of the things that we like to do in some of our cases is that we have a calendar link in here, because sometimes people are submitting these leads on Facebook and they're at work, or they're busy, or they're doing something else, and they cannot get a text or a phone call right then and there. And so we let them know, hey, we're going to be texting you, but we want to reach you at a time that we are not bothering you. So can you please go ahead and click the calendar link in here, and pick a time that we can reach out to you to ask you a few more questions and provide you with an honest estimate that may fit your needs. And you can easily plug in your calendar link in there, and then change this call to action to get a call back or something, right? Whatever it is that you want to type in there. Lastly, it's going to be connect leads to Messenger. I typically don't do this, but if you're quick with the thumbs and you want to connect with people in Messenger, please go ahead and do that. Once this form is complete, I will go ahead and create the form, and then it's going to save in my list of forms for me to use on my ad. Now, once that form is finished, this is what it's going to look like right here. You have a preview of what it does and what it's going to look like on somebody's mobile device. Basically, they're going to have to enter and answer these questions. I've got, just a sample one in here for you guys. And then I've got the standard lead information that pulls in directly from Facebook, along with my private policy and my thank you page and a call to action button in here. There are other features in here that I'm probably not going to cover because I don't know if you guys are connecting to a CRM. I don't know if you're using maybe Jobber or Workis or any other tool. We use High Level, so I'm going to show you how to connect this to High Level and what makes a difference within our leads. Once you're done with that form, just click on this green publish button on the bottom right hand corner, and that's going to be enough to submit this ad to Facebook. Facebook's going to review it, and you should start to see the ad running as soon as they review it. Now, using this exact type of setup, we've usually see results within the first week if things are set up properly and you have an understanding of what your offer is, proper creative, those kind of things. To add to this, there is a second thing that we do that is always a requirement to generate quality leads, and that is going to be using High Level. So if you're not familiar with High Level is pretty much like a little CRM kind of marketing tool, but the real power is with the automations, because the biggest hurdle that a business is facing is going to be what happens when a lead comes in and you're busy doing work, or your receptionist is busy with another call, or you can't get to the leads in time. Those people usually are lost to the competition. Getting back to them an hour, 2 hours later on in the evening or the day after next is not good enough, especially when you're spending money on generating these leads. So High Level allows us to seamlessly automate the voice and text messaging so that we don't lose them to your competitors. So here's what happens in this situation. We connect the lead ads or our Facebook account to this tool called High Level, and when a lead comes in, they basically go through a series of automations. The moment a lead comes in through Facebook, we are not only relying on our people in our office or my clients' people to just kind of do their due diligence, or estimators and salespeople, but estimators and salespeople are human and there's things that they're going to miss. So what this tool allows us to do is to automate everything. So let me walk you through what that process is when we set things up. Our clients have an ad that is running, and they get a lead from Facebook. The lead comes in here, and everything in here is automated. Basically, the lead gets added to a list of leads, a pipeline, where they can easily see everything and everyone that's happening, all the situations. If it's Monday through Friday, we handle leads one way. If it's over the weekend, we handle them a different way. So as soon as the lead comes in, a notification goes out to the team, letting them know that they have a lead. This could be your salesperson, this could be you, this could be your in-house receptionist, it could be anybody. A voicemail gets sent to that actual lead that is ringless. So basically, they see a call missed on their end, and it's Bob from Bob's Painting. Thank you for submitting some info. We received it. We try to reach out to you, but we can get a hold of you. We're going to follow up with a text. An instant email goes out to them, and an instant text message goes out to them immediately. Usually the text message is almost like a double verification notification that asks them to respond back with, yes, if we've got the right number, or when it's a good time to chat, that kind of thing. We wait 30 seconds, and then we try to connect a call between your salespeople and the lead. If the lead doesn't respond to the email, to the text, or we miss them altogether, we enter this follow-up system where we send an additional text, and so on and so forth. Now, in the event that the lead does not respond to our initial, text messages, phone calls, voicemails, and emails, then this system is designed to have the lead enter into a perpetual follow-up system for the next day. So it continues to follow up with the leads automatically for you on day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, etc., with voicemails, text messages, emails. And when they do respond, then your salespeople are notified instantly, so that they're only dealing with the hottest leads possible. If the lead decides that they change their mind and they no longer want to be contacted, and they express, please don't contact me, then the system stops completely and we don't contact the lead anymore. So this is part of what makes the Facebook ads profitable on the back end, because it's not enough to be able to generate leads. Generating leads is actually pretty simple. We can generate thousands of leads, not a problem. It's what happens after those leads become leads that is usually the gap. So now I want to show you an example of the automations working, in real time here. So here is a lead that came in for one of our clients. The automations kicked in and they instantly sent a text message and left a voicemail drop for them. The lead actually responded back, yes, you've got the right number. And they actually called us. They called the client, and the client missed the call. So at that point, the automation responded because they noticed that it was a missed call, and they said, hey, this is somebody, with our company. Sorry we missed your call. And the lead actually responded, I'm trying to get an estimate for an exterior house painting, at which point a call was established outbound and they were able to connect and schedule an estimate. So this is really the power of the automations behind the leads. Usually most people who are running Facebook ads and they say the leads suck or whatever the case is, it's because they don't have anything like this set up. And when the lead doesn't answer because they're typically busy, they give up and they never contact them again, or they're contacting them later. In this instant, we're constantly in communications because the automations are doing a lot of the heavy lifting and a lot of those mundane tasks for us to be able to close the leads for our clients. So if this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. And if you're interested in learning more about this, there will be resources in the description. I have a whole course on this. It's called the Local Lead Mastery Workshop. Super affordable. It's designed for beginning service home businesses who just want to create simple ads that work, that generate leads within a week. You can go ahead and check it out. And we'll talk to you guys soon.